What's going on, babe?
Hey, babe, how was your day?
It was actually pretty productive. Happy to be home.
Good. You know, we got a game today. Honey, they're a little rough around the edges.
I'm saying, I've been working all night, taking care of business, getting to the... You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I got you. I'm not trying to be out here looking like a dusty, and that's why I'm excited to have Tiege Ad as a sponsor of today's video. They help me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which come with all of the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My favorite part about Tiege Ad is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Ad get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price and the ability to customize your box. And because Tiege Ad is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description. You'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Click the link and get started today. We taking care of ourselves. Self-care, fellas, is the first step to be able to get to that bag, to take care of business, and be on top of things and level up in every aspect of your life. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, year of our Lord. I am cooking up from home as a result of the request from my wife. I just realized like this week, over a period of time, I kind of just came to the conclusion that I'm just really not the work from home type of dude anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think that working from home was awesome and it sounded good at the time as far as like earlier in your life and things like that, as far as things that's going on. You don't have to drive into work. You can sleep in. You can save money and all of that other type of stuff. And that was cool earlier in my life. But I think that since the majority of my working life, working from home it just really isn't for me anymore. But neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and check into the chat and see what the word is out in the streets. I got my dog Big Suggs in the building. We got Kojak showing up as usual. What up, Ko? What's happening, big dog? Ali G, what up, though? Luis Rodriguez says, blessed. How's it going? It is going absolutely awesome. It's going awesome, Luis. I appreciate you. Larry Walker said y'all just got rain there. Larry, you got rain over where you at, big dog? Okay, I see you. Centennial G is in the building. The Alexander says, premium medicine with a sprinkle of candy. Let's go. Good morning, fam. Crown. What's happening? Batman, 4,000 plus 11 added on to that. Shout out to you. Treese Westmoreland, what's happening, baby girl? Setting the record straight. Says, salute, Time Dog. Salute to you, too. Spaces. Maddox 12, I appreciate you. Florida Boy 27, 727. Let me add that in there. Bag Chasers, what's good? Millennial Mark TV. What up, Millennial Mark? What's happening? Heather Woods, what's up, love? Black Male, the Black Male Podcast. I don't like the way that sounds, but I like the name. What up, though? T-Mac is in the building. My dog, Persevere Data TV, says, I'm not trying to be out here looking like a dusty. I gave y'all the old Tiege commercial. So shout out to y'all. S. Chanel is in the building. What's going on? Hard Body Tie. What up, though? Brandy, I love you, baby girl. Heather, I think I already mentioned you, but I'm going to give you another shout out. Look out below. No Chaser. Ollie G says it isn't as fulfilling. Yeah, that working from home ain't what it used to be. New Era, what's happening? Tay-Biz TV, what up, though, big dog? Everybody in the chat. Mark Blair says, found Anton about a year ago to the week in Texas. Shout out to my people that's just now just finding me and the people that's been rocking with me for an extended period of time. Darius Graham is in the building. My people over there in Cali. No Chaser said the people over there in Cali is kicking it. George G, Cuban, 007 Black, Brock, my dog, Pat Forbes, And everybody else that's continuing to rock with us. What's good? What's going on? Welcome to the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your man's. Hold on. Got Amazon calling me.
What? I have an Amazon delivery for 4219 Woodward, Suite 306.
Yeah, this is yeah. You can just drop it in front of the office. Yeah. Nobody's gonna bother.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I need a signature for the package. It's set up to where a certain is required.
Okay, can you have security sign for the package, and you could just leave it there?
Will security be able to sign for it?
Yeah, they'll be able to sign for it.
All right, well, we'll leave it down with him then, just so that somewhere where it's with the person that signed for it.
That's fine. Call me if you have any other problems, my friend.
All right, we'll do it. Appreciate it.
All right, bye. Huh? No, I'm good, though. What up, Spaces? Spaces says, sent you an email about an interesting bag fumble. I'm going to have to check that out. When did you send that, Spaces? Thank you for the 2-ball. I appreciate you. Yo, we got Q in the building. Q ain't on no meeting this morning yet. Shout out to Q. What up, though, Q? What up to my people? All right, so listen. Let's go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. As you can see, we are reformatting our thumbnails. We are doing things differently when it comes to how we present the show. And I also have a long-term vision for how I would want the show to go. So make sure that y'all stay subscribed because things continuously change over here at the Millionaire Morning Show, over at the Anton Daniels channel. Don't Do Coke in the Bathroom, Fight Club, The Peef, all of these different platforms. We doing some very, very big things all the way across the board. I will be in Florida this weekend. So Friday, I am going to do a pre-record for you guys because I cannot have you guys fumble in the bag. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I will be releasing a Patreon exclusive video tomorrow. So listen to what I'm telling you. I'm releasing a Patreon exclusive video tomorrow for those of you that are in the Patreon. Make sure you stay tapped in. It is a to be determined date because I got to take care of Rita. I got to take care of Leslie as far as taking them out for their birthday over to Florida. So that's going to be a family thing. She's over here dancing, but she's crazy. So don't worry about her. But, I am going to create a new date for me to be able to do that next webinar on the Patreon. The old webinar is up there now from a couple weeks ago for you guys to be able to leverage social media in order to be able to get to your bag and so on and so forth. And then make sure you take care of ordering your alpha juice. So make sure you stay on top of ordering your alpha juice. This specific flavor is called Virgo. I have not tasted Virgo. I'm looking forward to tasting Virgo, but it looks incredibly healthy. So Virgo, I'm going to be tasting Virgo today and then be tapping in with that. So make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. But don't order it without make sure you're putting your discount code in because then that would be egregious and you wouldn't get your money off. And then you can't let them know that Anton sent you over to the Alpha Juice Company. So we got to make sure we take care of business. Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, I will be doing reading super chats throughout the show. So I appreciate y'all for continuing to hold me down. I got my dog Big Pete in the building says, good afternoon and have a great day. He's not just wishing me a good afternoon. He's wishing all of us a good afternoon. So make sure y'all wish Big Pete a good afternoon back. I appreciate you, Big Pete, for holding me down, and shout out to all of my bag chasers. All right, so let's get into the show, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, because I got a full one. And I'm pivoting, so I'm not going to do my monologue. Let me give you a little bit of preview of what it is that I want to do today, okay? So first, while Rita's over there with all of the noise, don't worry about it. Go ahead, eat your food, babe. You good. I'm live streaming from home, so we expect it. Don't worry about it. You good. Seriously, you good. She did get me this, in addition to my Alpha Juice Company, she got me the what is this, a charcuterie board?
Yes.
Is that what this is? Let me show y'all what
That's the one that Q sent us to.
Oh, shout out to Q. Q, you sent me this? You sent this Q?
My board.
This is what I'm dealing with every morning. It's a new set of cheeses, olives, strawberries. What kind of cheese is this in the middle?
It's like a garlic and herb something.
Garlic and herb cheese. Looks like pickles. I don't know what kind of cheese this is. Crackers, turkey.
White cheddar.
This is white cheddar, and then this is what kind of cheese is this other one?
Sharp cheddar.
That's sharp, white, garlic and herb, strawberries, pickles, um, olives, grapes, turkey, and crackers. So shout out to you for the charcuterie board. This is what my life looked like every day. It looked like a freaking dream. That's what I deal with. So, anyways, let me give you a little bit of a preview of how I want to do the show today. I'm experimenting, and then I'm thinking that I want to do it like this going forward. So we're going to lean into the show. We're going to do the different articles, but I want this to be a little bit more interactive than just what it is that we have going on in the chat, right? And so at the end of the show, I'm saving a specific talking point and article and thing that I want to speak to for the end of the show. Not just that, I want to give you guys the opportunity to be able to come up, voice your opinions, give your thoughts on different things that we talk about, and possibly even ask me questions. So if you have a question for me and you don't want to get on camera, I'll always prioritize the super chats first because I appreciate everybody that hold me down. But please have good lighting. Feel free to be able to cam up. Prepare yourself. So roughly an hour or hour and change from now, I will be opening up the phone lines, not even the phone lines. I'm going to be opening up the live stream for you to be able to jump on camera, ask me any question that you want to ask me, especially as it pertains to any conversation that we have in a day. So prepare yourself now. Don't say I didn't have time to get ready. I didn't have my makeup on. I still got my bonnet on, all of that other type of stuff. I want you guys to really, really participate in what we got going on the Millionaire Morning Show, because this is not just me talking at you. This is me talking with you. Okay. So I don't want to hear no excuses. If anybody got a question, anybody got anything they want to add into the live stream, you will be able to do so towards the end of the stream. Okay. So feel free to prepare yourself, cam up. I will open it up for if you got questions towards the end of the stream. All right. So let me also give a shout out to my dog, Mike Jones. Mike Jones been holding me down over at the Layoff Network. He hold me down over here. I got to give a special shout out to Mike Jones because Mike Jones hit me with the 50 ball, and he always making it rain on me like I'm some stripper in the strip club. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mike Jones. He said, "Good morning, Anton. Been hitting the gym earlier this month. Dropped 8 pounds. Plan on being a beast in November. Gotta order the Alpha Juice." Yo, Mike, don't order it without hitting the discount code Anton in there. Don't order it without hitting us with the discount code. Thank you, Michael, and congratulations on your weight loss and continuing to do what it is that you want to do. Anybody, again, that wants to come up and be able to show me love or ask a question or just give you insight or information on what's going on, you will be more than welcome to do so towards the end of the show. I'm going to open up the phone lines or I'm going to open up the live stream for you guys to be able to jump on camera. Make sure you're on camera. Make sure you got good lighting. And we're going to have that conversation. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you for holding me down, big dog. You are much appreciated. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into the show. So we're going to go Layoffs, Umar Johnson, and then I want to hit y'all with a special conversation, all right? So let's get into it. Layoffs. We've been seeing tech companies specifically cull the ranks. And when we say cull the ranks, we mean removing all of the fat in order to allow for them to be able to add more value back to shareholders. That's really what it's about. And make sure that they're flush with cash so that they're not wasting it on things that's not actually bringing value back to the company. So the 31 masseuses that was laid off over at Google, Elon Musk came in, had 7,500 people, and this has been since the beginning of time, since Twitter has really been in existence. Twitter has been operating like a fat girl, just eating everything and not bringing no value back to you when you can't even see her when you lift up the rolls. You know what I'm saying? Had 7,500 people. He came in, laid off the overwhelming majority of them, almost 6,000 people. They operating with less than 1,800 people. And Twitter is more efficient, added more features, is operating better than it's ever been. Microsoft laid off tens of thousands of people. Amazon up to 18,000 people, right? Recently, Salesforce. We have all of these different companies, Netflix. The only company that I can think of that's not a major tech company that hasn't been announcing layoffs in some way, shape, or form is Apple. And mainly the reason why a lot of these companies find themselves laying off workers, amongst other things, is because during the pandemic, they overhired. They overhired because for whatever reason, they had this thing in their mind and that nobody was ever going to go back to work, that we wasn't going to have to go back into the offices, and several different reasons. But they overhired because the government was giving out free money and they thought that they were going to have to compete for workers, when the reality was that they didn't need all of the extras, all of the things that was happening in the 2000 and the 2010s, in which you can go in and get free lunch and all of this other type of stuff. It's all out the window. It's all out the window. They don't need 31 masseuses. You're not going to get your free dry cleaning. You can't just come in there and eat for free without actually adding value into the company, so on and so forth, right? But let's pivot for a minute. Who are these people that they're laying off? Give me 1 second. Let me get my charcuterie. Got to get my cheese. You know, I like my cheese on one end and the other end. I like my cheese in the green and I like my cheese on my charcuterie board, all right? But when you just got all of this good deliciousness in front of me, it's no way that I'm not going to nibble off of it. But let's talk about who they laid off. What I've been seeing across my feed, and I guess it somewhat is based off of who it is that you follow within the algorithm, I've been seeing a bevy of different content creators or new YouTube channels popping up from so many different people talking about their layoff experience. Now, for somebody like me, that's 40 years old, and I've been through the 2008 recession, and I've seen what happened when the planes hit the building on September 11th. I've seen a lot of different layoffs in my lifetime. I've seen some ups, some downs, and so that's been better. That's better prepared me for what's happening today, what happened during the pandemic, all of that different things. I've lived through some ups and downs in my lifetime, but now that we live in a social media era, because when it was really hitting, when I was when I first really started coming into my early 20s, you didn't have all of this. You didn't have the social media. I'm gonna be reading super chats throughout the show. You didn't have all of the social media. You didn't have all of the YouTube popping the way that it is, but anybody can pick up a camera and talk about their experiences, right? You got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got all of these different platforms. And so I've been flooded down my timeline, and maybe it's just the people that I follow, but my algorithm has largely been flooded with different people that talks about their layoff experience. One in particular is Nicole Daily Vlog. Now, Nicole apparently has gone viral based off of A, her first documenting what her life was like working at Google, and then B, then documenting the layoff experience. So I want to share this video with you guys, right? I want to share this video with you guys, and I want to get what you think. Now, again, keep in mind what it is that we're talking about here all throughout the show, because I will be opening up the phone lines or the live stream for you to be able to jump on camera and give your opinion and your thoughts towards the end of the show. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share Nicole's experience, and then you guys can give me what it is that you think about it.
A day in my life working from the Google LA office. I always grab some candy from the reception before heading in. This used to be an old aircraft hangar, so the decorations hanging from the ceiling kind of looks like an aircraft flying in. Before it was a Google office, this aircraft hangar belonged to Howard Hughes, so there's tons of memorabilia. Next, I'm gonna pass by these art installations. They're a really good photo op, or you can sit in there and get some work done. I'm gonna head to the coffee shop to grab some coffee and a fruit cup since I missed breakfast, and then I'm heading over to this butterfly themed room to take my first meeting. Then I'm gonna
Now remember, this is her first talking specifically about her experience and what her day is like working at Google.
head over to the confetti room to take my next meeting. It's so sparkly and beautiful in here. I love that a lot of our rooms are themed. Then I'm gonna grab my two favorite drinks, which is this green tea and coconut water. Next, I'm gonna go upstairs and grab some lunch. They always have pizza and a variety of different vegetables and meat. The food is always really good. And of course, everything you see in the office is free. On my way out.
Now, as we go through and we watch this, I know that there's a lot of people that's like, man, what would that be like to be able to go in, don't do any work whatsoever, have a great time, eat for free, go in and explore the offices, do a lot of different Instagram photos, and not really do anything. I haven't actually seen her do any work whatsoever. Now, a lot of people aren't familiar with this, but this is normal life over in Silicon Valley. We've gotten so comfortable and we've really started to embrace this environment that's more like Wall-E. I know a lot of y'all ain't familiar with Wall-E, but Wall-E is one of my favorite movies. These people feel comfortable enough to bring the camera into their workplace and show themselves to do nothing. Now, I don't really like to do the black jokes and the Asian jokes and the white jokes, but it's something that I have to point out. Every single video that I see, and maybe it's just because it's a lot of us that's not really in these tech positions or whatever, every single video that I've seen of a day in the life in, and I've watched these videos a lot. I've even done them in the past. Probably, when Leslie was real little, right? When I did the take your daughter to work day thing. Mm-hmm. All of these videos for the day in the life thing, it's so cushy. But it ain't no black people in it. Now, when I took my daughter to work, it was bring your water to work day. And I actually showed her and highlighted exactly what it is that we do on a regular basis. I took her up to the corporate offices. I took her into my space where I usually have my team and all of that other type of stuff. But one thing I will say about black people, and thank you for the super chats, I'm going to be reading those throughout the show. One thing I will say about black people is we really not interested in snitching on ourselves unless we're on a first 48. The only time that I see black people snitching on themselves, now listen, they will tell on their homeboy for a ham sandwich and a Diet Coke in order to get themselves out of jail. But they certainly will not mess up the bag by just regularly telling on themselves, not the overwhelming majority of the black people that I see. But these people is really coming in here. Now, this is before the tech layoffs. Coming in here, highlighting a day of, she spent the first 4 hours of her day, of her 8-hour day, doing nothing and having a smorgasbord of pizza and chips and drink and no peas and no vegetables on her plate. One thing I know about black people specifically is that we gonna fake it like we really doing some work. I know more black people than ordered the mouse thing that automatically moves, that makes sure that it ain't showing that you ain't there. They don't even be at home. They be at the salon getting their hair done. They be doing all kind of stuff. They got all kind of gizmos and gadgets that make sure that they can remonitor what it is that they got going on back at the house when they... All right, so let me tell you what just happened. Pause that, girl. So the power went out because it's really, really windy. Nah, I'm not. It's not YouTube. They're not censoring me right now. The power went out because it was really, really windy, but I got the backup. So instead of, I have some software that allows for me to continue to stream. So I already automatically got the backup. So until my Wi-Fi kick back in, we streaming from the 5G plus on the iPhone. Ooh! Anton said, y'all not about to be messing up my stream like we not out here doing the God's work. But like I was saying, back to our regularly scheduled program. Man, the power had went out. I was pissed too. Let me know when the Wi-Fi come back up and it's operating regularly. And we're going to get it popping. But anyways, like I was saying, black people don't really snitch on themselves. We don't do that. We continue to get the bag and we'll do anything to protect the bag. We might not show up on time, but we sure not going to tell you that we not showing up on time. We're going to have a homie punch us in. We're going to do a lot of different things. Wi-Fi is working back regularly. We online. We good. Do I have to switch back over? Let's give it a couple more minutes before we switch back over into the high powered Wi-Fi. Give it a couple more minutes. All right. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen.
Out of the cafe, I ran into a doogler, which is a dog googler, and ran into some ghosts. Doogler. When they were renovating the office, there were a lot of spooky stories from the crew. So there's a whole area in the office where you can listen to them. Then I got more work done and headed over to the massage chairs to wrap up my day. Let me know what you want to see next.
So that was her a day in the life of. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue.
A day in my life getting laid off at Google. So I woke up to this really ominous text from my boss, and I honestly had no idea what it was going to be about. So I called her the minute I woke up and saw this, and she told me to check the news and my email. So I rushed downstairs to find out that I had lost access to basically everything. I couldn't log into my email or even check my calendar. I called my boss back, and we just sobbed over the phone because she was also finding out about my layoff for the
Young millennials just getting laid off for the first time, and I'm getting laid off from home. I didn't even get to get my boxes. I got to turn in my laptop. I'm getting a very, very good severance package, but I caught my boss from my home. First of all, what did you think was going to happen if let this be a lesson. First, always represent yourself to be as busy as possible, to be irreplaceable. That way, when they start to go down the ranks, they're not pulling up your YouTube channel and realizing, or your TikTok in this instance, and realizing that you're really not doing no work in the first place.
First time today too. I started getting calls from a bunch of my coworkers and started finding out who else was let go on my team and some neighboring teams as well. But I think the worst part is that it seems like no one was consulted on this decision and everyone was just finding out about the layoffs at the same time.
Nobody was consulted about this decision, and everybody was finding out about the layoffs at the same time. What did you think that they was going to do? You thought that they was going to consult you and get your opinion on who should be laid off and who's the most productive? All we got to do is go to your social media and figure out whether or not you're really out here living this life.
It just felt like a really bad game of Russian.
This hoe is recording herself crying on her TikTok. She's recording herself crying on her TikTok in order to be able to emphasize a certain thing.
And there was no consistency around who was let go. It was also not performance based, so it just felt really random.
Yes, it is performance based. You're not doing nothing. It just felt really random. Yo, shout out to all of my Asian Generation Zs and millennials that's just getting laid off for the first time. I'm happy for you. I'm so thankful that y'all going through the same things that we went through, because it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you realize that nothing is promised to you. You ain't even really went through it. In 2008, oh my God, we was suffering. It was a whole gnashing of the teeth. I thought it was the end of times. I thought Jesus was about to part the clouds the way that we were suffering out here in these streets.
Opened up LinkedIn, which honestly was not great for my mental health. There were so many people who were in the same boat that were both equally as shocked and blindsided, but it did help me feel a little less alone. Honestly, I spent so much of the day crying that I just felt so tired from being sad and wanted to do something that would just make me feel better. Luckily, I have an annual pass, so I headed over to Disneyland because I wanted to go eat my feelings.
This chick said I headed over to Disneyland. She didn't even say Disneyland. She said I headed over to Disneyland. I headed over to Disneyland because I'm going to eat my feelings away. Oh my God, this generation is so weak and coddled and suckers. They not built like we. Man, I'm so thankful for the things that I went through in the era that I was born in.
So I started off with a cinnamon galaxy churro and then went to the teriyaki turkey leg. This is a special limited edition item for the Lunar New Year celebration at Disney California Adventure. I had some Rice Krispie, a corn dog, did some drawing, and even had another churro. I don't really know what's next for me, but I'll be vlogging my journey and posting more content about it, so feel free to follow along.
I wonder how many people is actually going to hire her as a result of this now. I wonder how many people, like, don't y'all know that your digital footprint is literally your new resume now? I've been telling y'all this, and I've actually broke this down inside of the Patreon. So the link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But your digital footprint is literally, am I clear on there?
I'm just now about to go back on there.
Check it out and tell me if I'm clear on there. Your digital footprint is literally your resume now. The piece of paper is just a formality. How it is that you're going about doing things is your footprint. So don't get caught up in the foolishness. Don't find yourself on the outside looking in. Don't market yourself like an idiot. I just did a webinar where I broke down exactly how it is that you need to move in the social media era in order to make sure that you're generating the most revenue possible. So if you're not a bag chaser, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Don't do what she did. Don't be a fool. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it and try to switch over my Wi-Fi.
I'm back on there.
Am I clear?
Yeah.
I'm super clear?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna risk it then. Skip it. Why switch it when we rocking? All right, so let's continue, y'all. All right, so again, I am going to be opening up the phone lines for you guys to be able to jump on the live stream towards the end of the live stream. So make sure you got your cameras ready. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. I did lose power for a second, so I can't see any of the previous super chats right now, but I appreciate everybody that absolutely positively continue to contribute towards the platform. You are absolutely awesome. So let's move into the next thing. I want to get into the main thing that I wanted to talk about today. The Good Doctor. The Good Doctor. You guys sent me a video of The Good Doctor and you said, Anton, you're going to have to play this and I would love for you to react to it because this was uploaded online and the Good Doctor was specifically speaking about how we as a community, especially our celebrities, are silenced. We as a community, especially our celebrities, are silenced, okay? So I have not seen the video. As usual, I am going to be as objective as possible. I do not know what he's going to say. I have not looked at the video at all. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for continuing to rock with me. Let's go ahead and get into the video of the Good Doctor giving his thoughts.
You're trying to fight for justice using racism's dollars.
Right.
It'll never happen.
Just like BLM, huh?
BLM. Well, I think BLM was a CIA, FBI front to take over the traditional masculine-led Black power movement with the LGBTQ and bring all the Black youth over to the LGBTQ camp. So they used the red, black, and green flag. They led with Black power, but when you looked at the agenda, it was all LGBTQ.
Yes, that's right.
I think that was the hijacking of the masculine leadership of the Black power movement. Because one thing about BLM that's very interesting, right? They have never been audited by the IRS.
Wow.
We've been audited already, and we haven't collected nowhere near the amount of money. Do you understand me? So how does FDMG get audited by the IRS, and BLM has collected tens of millions of dollars?
Yes.
They've been all over the internet. Candace Owens, who's a Negro on the coon, but she's done she did a documentary on them, and the IRS ain't touched them.
Do we know whether or not Black Lives Matter has been audited or not? I'm just curious. Listen, I don't disagree with anything that he said yet. I don't disagree with anything that he said yet. Do we know if Black Lives Matter has been audited or not? And why would they be audited? Because they feed into what the national government, or the national government, the government themselves are trying to do to the Black community. I'm not really sure that that they would want to audit them. It's not like they don't know where the money going. The money came from Black folks anyway, so what difference do it make? Levi DePero says, Antoine, any G word for comment will not go. Try 5X. Say that again. Any G word for comment will not go. Try 5 times. I don't really understand what that means. I appreciate you for the 2-ball, but I don't really know what that means. I want to switch over my Wi-Fi just to make sure that I'm stable. But I don't disagree with anything that the Good Doctor is saying right now. Thank you, Levi DePero. I don't disagree with anything that he's saying. Why aren't they being audited? It seems like people are calling for them to be audited. That doesn't absolve the Good Doctor from being audited. How do we even know that the Good Doctor has been audited? Is Dr. Umar Johnson operating a nonprofit? Is it its own entity? How do we know that Umar Johnson has been audited at all?
Debated Candace Owens?
No, but I'll do it. I'll gladly conduct the intellectual assassination. She can't go to war with me. Nope.
No.
She's a coon. She's married to a white man. I have no respect for her, but I'll gladly conduct the intellectual assassination. Name the time and place.
So you mentioned finances.
But he won't even take a huge bag in order to come over here and talk business. Interesting. He won't take a huge bag in order to come over here and talk business. Oh, okay. He don't want no parts to Candace Owens. But I don't disagree with what he's saying as far as Black Lives Matter and them hijacking the movement in order to replace masculinity with femininity. He's absolutely right about that.
Earlier again was I stay on the money because I always believe it goes with the money.
Follow the money.
No Black dollar, no Black power.
And I'm wondering, with so many Black millionaires and billionaires out here that could be assisting these programs or doing what needs to be done. Why do you think that doesn't happen? Because like you said, Martin and Stokely and all them, they didn't have the resources in their work.
That's why they were effective.
Billionaires and millionaires back then to contribute.
That's why they were effective, Queen. See, back then, the black community funded the grassroots organizations. You follow me?
Right.
If Stokely and King, and I don't think they would have went for it anyway because they was too sincere, which is another big difference between them and us. Most of these guys are looking for money, not freedom, right?
Yeah.
But they were so sincere, they would have never accepted a dollar from the power structure anyway. After Stokely and King and Malcolm, that's when the government said we need to start funding black community organizations to do what? Prevent black revolution and radicalism.
Yeah.
That's why your black churches don't do much.
Right.
Because most of them are tapping into city grants, state grants, federal grants. And of course, corporate American grants. But more specifically to your question, we have to stop talking about the celebrities helping us. They're never going to do it. And if they are going to do it, they're going to do it only after you have shown and proven you are serious and you have achieved a victory. For example,
I don't disagree with him. Not on that specific. Now, I don't know enough about what it is that he's talking about. Let me be very, very clear. I don't know enough about what it is that he's talking about in order to speak on whether or not Martin Luther King ever took a dollar from an entity outside of the black community. I don't know enough about it in order to speak to it, so I'm not going to assume, right? I do know that the majority of the civil rights leaders didn't get any friction or get any movement towards progress of what it was that they were trying to solve for until they started getting support from other people that didn't look like them. And when you seen these freedom riders, it was a bunch of white people on there. When you seen some of these people getting hosed, you will also see white people getting beat up and hosed and dogs sicked on them also. So I can't speak to whether or not they were funded or they took funding from other people, nor I don't know if they would have took funding from other people. But I do know that what he's saying is correct, specifically about celebrities and black millionaires and billionaires will not donate to the cause, including myself, will not donate to the cause until I see that you're serious or you're showing improvement. Because why would I fund with somebody, why would I roll with or fund something from somebody that I don't even necessarily agree with, that will then come online and then say that you need 50 lashes, you need 500 lashes, and then they then petitioning for you to support their school. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Hiram Yawahada says the civil rights movement was funded by the Jews. So there you go. That's why I don't necessarily speak on something that I don't know. That's why I usually say, well, you know, in order to qualify what it is that I'm talking about, this is what I do know and this is what I don't know. Somebody is saying that it was funded by people outside of black people. So I don't know. Thank you for the 2-ball. I appreciate you. Let's continue.
take FDMG, right? I'm the biggest black scholar in the world. There's no name that comes next to mine. I haven't got a single donation from a black celebrity.
Wow.
Well, that's because you calling them out. He be calling them coons. He just got done calling Candace Owens a coon. He said LeBron James was a coon. He don't like Jay-Z. He don't like Beyonce. Listen, years ago when Umar Johnson really first busted on the scene and he started doing Breakfast Club interviews, he was petitioning for and asking for donations from black billionaires and millionaires. He was petitioning for and asking for donations from black millionaires and billionaires. Fast forward to today, he calls them all coons. He said that they're coon for marrying outside of their race, yet he got baby mamas. And I don't know if, and I have not seen him marry any black woman. So you can't offend the same people that you petitioning money for and then say that you're supposed to be supporting us. Because where will these donations go? There is no transparency. We don't know how you spending the money. What are we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? When Umar Johnson first bust on the scene, I thought that he was well spoken, that he debated well, whatever, and then you let somebody talk long enough, they're gonna reveal who they are. But he's not necessarily wrong about that. But I'm gonna continue. Let me let this play for a little bit.
I know many of them. They talk my phone. They text me. I know them all. Your Grammy Award winners, all that. I know them all. They call me.
Of course.
Never wrote a check. Never wrote a check. Not one of them wrote a check.
Wow.
Do I fault them? No. Because here's what I'm going to say. When we open up that school next year, right? Mm-hmm. And they see them kids in there, I'm going to see if I get it checked in. Some of them want to help, but they're afraid. They got to make sure before they stick their neck out, Dr. Umar is serious, because after all, we heard he stole the money, he did this, ain't no school, right?
Yeah.
So once they see the students, I may get a check. Most of them will never donate, because the black celebrity, the black athlete, the black entertainer is a corporate commodity. They are plantation slaves. I don't say this.
So now you call them a plantation. You're calling them a plantation slave, while also saying that you want them to donate and hit the Cash App. I don't really know if he knows what he's doing while he's doing it. I'm not sure that he knows what he's doing while he's doing it.
Be disrespectful, I say it to be honest. The only difference between your black celebrities and our ancestors who picked cotton in Mississippi 157 years ago is they get a check. Our ancestors did not. They are just as controlled, and I would argue more enslaved than our ancestors were. Because when you look at their contracts, they have contracts, specifically the athletes, that specifically forbids them from getting involved in any black community grassroots work. This is why when you see the football players and the NBA players, they always taking pictures with white kids. Why they never taking pictures with black kids? Because they afraid of looking too black, because looking too black does not allow me to be marketable. And if I'm
They got verbiage, and I'm curious as to see what these contracts look like. Has anybody ever seen any of these contracts? I want to see a contract where it's preventing them from actually going out and participating in grassroots organizations. Because there's plenty of celebrities that participate in grassroots organizations. I know the Pistons specifically. Every last one of the Pistons, and Tom Gores himself in the organization, is redone almost every single basketball court and rec centers outside basketball court. They've redone whole parks. They are literally actively building one right now and participating in a community. And the overwhelming majority of the people that's in there is black. They did. We at the games. You ever see any of those videos and photo ops and stuff like that? That's literally what every single Piston does. They are required within their contract to actually participate with what's going on in the community. Community involvement in the Detroit area, which is one of the reasons or one of the incentives for them to move back to Detroit. I don't know. I'm curious as to see what these contracts say. What do you mean they don't take pictures with black children? That's wild. That's a wild accusation. Shout out to Kenneth Percival. He says, afternoon, big coach. Appreciate the one-on-one. Kenneth, we was cooking up. Me and Kenneth was cooking up. I gave Kenneth for the reality check of his life. When y'all sign up for a coaching session with me, I will say this. You don't know necessarily what you're going to get into. It's going to be different than what you thought, but it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be better than what you thought it was going to be. When you get into a coaching session with me, it is going to be better than what you thought it was going to be. All right. Shout out to Kenneth. And if you need to get in touch with me for a business or a coaching call, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com and we're going to get you popping. Let me continue to play a little bit more of this.
I'm not marketable, my career ends.
And if they do us in a poor community instead of,
Thanks, King.
like they go to these other white schools and all this that are privileged. But if you see them go to a black school, it's in an underserved community, and they really just do it for the photo op.
Yeah, they don't drop no money off.
Yeah, they show
And
up.
my thing is the fact that you can get a tax write-off, you should be dropping even more money.
Right.
You see, because I'm trying to understand how you got 20 cars in your garage, but the neighborhood you come from ain't even got a decent school for the kids.
Right.
You got your own jet or 2 and 3 jets, but the neighborhood you live in is plagued with crime because there's no jobs for black people. And to that point, one of the justifications that the Mississippi State Legislature made for the expansion of the Capital District Zone is crime, right? Backlogging crime. They got to process some of these cases. Well, if you really care about the crime in Jackson or the crime in Mississippi, how about you target the causes of that crime? And the 2 biggest causes of crime in America are miseducation and economic castration. So if they are sincere about caring about the crime, what have they done for schools in Jackson over the past 10, 20, 30 years? Don't tell me you care about crime and you're not making the schools better. For example, do we have industrial building trade programs in Jackson, Mississippi? I don't just mean 1 or 2 classes. I mean an entire program that takes you from A to Z, and once you finish high school, you can sit for your Mississippi State license to be a plumber, electrician, auto body mechanic. You understand me? That's what we used to have in the black community. The skills that pay the bills. The reason why these brothers out here stealing and robbing and looting, because they got kids to feed, mouths to feed, and nobody's giving them no economic opportunity. So
This is what I call, ladies and gentlemen, a white lie. It's what I call a white lie. And the reason why I call it a white lie is because he's not necessarily lying, but he's not telling the whole truth. The full picture is not being painted. And the reality is that we're more interested in becoming basketball players and rappers than we are becoming electricians and plumbers. And the pathway to becoming an electrician and a plumber is much, much easier than ever becoming a ball player or even becoming a software engineer, a YouTuber, the whole 9 yards. He's wrong. However, he is right about the idea that the majority of your entertainers and the people that's selling drugs in your community and black culture itself takes away from their people. They don't necessarily pour back into the communities that they come from. He is right. And that's why I call it a white lie, is because usually in order for people to really be able to substantiate their arguments, and I'm going to give them just as much credit as I give them smoke, in order for people to substantiate their arguments, usually what happens is they mix a little bit of the truth in with something that we can't necessarily prove, right? We can't prove what's in these guys' contracts. We don't know. But then at the same time, we do know that they take money from the people in their communities as far as these entertainers. They come in, they do shows, and they leave. But then at the same time, you can't necessarily say that they don't do community work, because that's the thing that people say, well, you shouldn't highlight and you shouldn't celebrate and you shouldn't say that. You should be humble. But then they celebrate you, putting up the money phone and the chain, and you're going to get 100,000 likes if you got your butt out. But you're not going to get 100,000 likes if you got clothes on and you're actually helping a young person in your community. So it's part truth, it's part unsubstantiated, but he's not necessarily saying anything wild. Millennial Mark TV says Umar has so much potential. Problem is he won't delegate key tasks that's beyond his capability to others with the experience. The head NIC, the head NIGGA in charge mentality. I agree with you on that one, big dog. I absolutely agree. Gore says the NBA has a monthly community assist ward. Umar is lying through his teeth. I wouldn't say he's lying. Let's say that Umar is just uninformed and he doesn't know any better. But then that's why you got to be careful, because you can't speak on something that you're not necessarily familiar with. I know the NBA specifically even has a get out and they shut down the whole league during a specific day of the year in order to make sure that local elections is taken care of within the communities and everything. So I don't know what he's looking at. Siel 333 says, tell Umar not to do coconut. Jesus Christ. D Riz says, what Anton? First time donation. Found you through Angry Man. Love your content. God bless. Keep stomping. You are helping the community more than you know. And I'm a software engineer, and I know. Oh, you know that there's so much opportunity. They trying to give away these jobs. And if you're a minority, they're going to prioritize you. But we don't want to go into those fields. We want to go into dance and liberal arts. And I was the only black person in my software engineering classes when I was going through school, both community college and through regular, major universities. So I know that that's not true. And thank you, D Riz, for supporting the platform. We got to be a lot more informed. We got to be a lot more informed.
So can't nobody talk to me about crime until you talk to me about jobs.
Well, wait. What do you say to the younger black people who are committing crimes? Because now the crime wave is with the 12 through about 17, 18.
Well, they're being nurtured by the olders to do the crime.
Yeah.
You understand me? So they're being socialized by their big homies to do the crime. They're not waiting.
He don't really want to tell the truth. They being raised by single mothers. This is the part where they need to tap into Jason Whitlock, because Jason Whitlock gonna give you the game. They're being raised by single mothers, and that's why they find themselves doing the things that's not best for our communities.
Up and walking outside with the guns. They're being paid to do the drive-bys, sell the dope, pass the packages and everything else. But I want to be clear, as bad as crime is, and it is, I will not demonize the brothers who are doing it, because I understand that they exist within a social structure created by white people to suffocate black people to death. You understand? And unfortunately, our black politicians, state, local, national, they are not fighting enough for economic opportunity for black males. When is the last time you heard a conversation on the Mississippi state floor congressional state floor down in DC, any state, any city talking about a bill to create jobs for black men in the inner city. Have you ever heard that conversation? All you hear about is prisons and police. And the research shows you that more police and more prisons does not reduce crime. It has no effect. So why are you putting more cops on the street? Because you...
Then how come they doing it in Singapore and you have literally zero crime in Singapore? In Singapore, they took the drug dealers out, they dragged them onto the street, they shot them in the head, and if you go over there and litter, you're going to be taken down. In Singapore, it worked. It's just that they executed it all the way to its finish. They didn't halfway do stuff. They didn't say that this is the ongoing war on drugs and crime in order to incentivize these different municipalities to continue to petition for grants so that they can tie you to the federal government and to the Democratic Party in order to get you to vote a certain type of way. They don't have lobbyists over there. They just did it in Singapore, and then they executed it, and they built it from nothing over into something, and they don't have the level of crime or even remotely any crime over there whatsoever because they did it. How come it works everywhere else? It just doesn't work here.
Giving white people jobs and careers in the name of black dysfunctionality.
Let's go back to the billionaires and mega multi-millionaire African Americans that are in this country. How, with the power and the money that they have, why do you think they don't have a voice at this point? Because
you're right, Kojak. And the reason why I know you're right is because you're an architect, so you understand how a lot of these jobs work. You can't even come and build in a city at this point, and it's a lot of building that's happening right now, unless at least half of the jobs go to the people that not only live within the city limits, but also are of a specific pigmentation and people of color. You can't even get a contract. You can't even build a building. You can't even build an apartment. You can't build a construction site. You can't. Half the workers got to be that. Half of the homes and stuff is allocated to the people within the community. You got to live within city limits. The whole 9 yards, which is one of the reasons why we can't even recruit effectively, because a lot of people don't want to come and live within the city if they can't find it within a specific area in order to police the community. And so they then have to consider opening it up to everybody else if they want to even have a police force at all. You know that's Kojak. You know what's up. Come on, man. We're not going into it.
Money don't equal power. Money don't equal power. And if the white man knows,
it's like, goddamn.
And when your identity,
I got $3 billion.
Yeah, but your identity is tied up in your money. Your ego is tied up in your money. That means you're not willing to lose your money for anything.
Right.
Do you understand that?
You got your money though. You got it.
It can be taken because they all got it from white folks. They got that money from white folks. None of them are self-made. LeBron James is a phenomenal basketball player. Shout out to him for breaking the record.
Don't give me a compliment, a backhanded compliment, and then slap me as a result of it. Don't give me a compliment, beg me for what it is that I'm doing, because the LeBron James School is helping to be funded by Nike and other sponsors because he goes about doing things and he's not offending people. He's actually working with other corporations and people in order to build his community. He didn't have to require or ask them to be able to open an I Promise school over in Akron, Ohio. Me and Rita was just sitting at the bar having a conversation with somebody that is in Akron, Ohio, when we was at the 11 bar downtown Detroit just the other day.
Yeah, but LeBron James got rich through the NBA. That's a white corporation.
Told you.
Oprah Winfrey got rich through the white corporation. There are no buts.
That's how it works.
No, it's not how it works.
Okay, so you're telling me
it doesn't have to work that way.
Okay. And this is not. I own this.
Think about what's being communicated, right? Think about what's being communicated. I need y'all to listen with your ears and not with your eyes. Listen with your ears and not with your eyes, okay? What's being communicated is he's saying that we need to get rich off of each other. We don't need to take the white dollar, but then at the same time, we're going to petition the federal government in order to ensure that we have more jobs within the black community. So who do you think that the overwhelming majority of the government is made up of? If you're going to petition for the federal government and the system that you don't like to pour into your community, but then you're going to hold a celebrity accountable for getting rich, for being successful and doing the thing that's best for them in order to generate all of the revenue that then funds the I Promise school, then puts all of his homeboys that he brought up from the hood with him on, then make sure that everybody else that's around him is eating and all of the next companies that come along with it is funded. You can't complain about the very system that you don't like, but then petition for it to then help you. Come on, y'all. We got to listen with 2 ears. We got to listen with both of our ears. You can't then say what was wrong with the community, but say I'm not going to hold drug dealers accountable. You can't then say that, hey, this is systematic and we going about doing things the wrong way, but then don't hold single mothers accountable. You got to have it. See, he's very much a reflection of the things that he's advocating against. And let me tell you why. He won't hold single mothers accountable because they're a large part of his Hit the Cash App donor base, allegedly. He won't say what's really wrong with the community, not because he's for the community, but because he's advocating for, and the thing that he's going to go about doing is largely based on the blind following that he has from the very people that he knows is accountable for the things that's wrong within the community. You can't then petition the very thing that you hate to help you and then hold somebody else accountable for utilizing that resource in order to be successful. LeBron James literally leveraged corporate America in order to send not only a bunch of kids to college, a 100% college turnout rate, but also send their parents to college. He is fixing, and as much as I don't like LeBron's politics, I also have to be objective enough to give him the credit that he deserves when he comes to give back to his community. Umar Johnson, in the very beginning of this show, said that athletes, basketball players, entertainers, millionaires, and billionaires do not come back and support their community. They do not even take pictures with black people. They don't do any of this. Then what do you call one of the most successful, biggest faces on the face of this earth as far as a black celebrity, billionaire, millionaire, visibility, and all of that? What do you call the I Promise School, and what do you call LeBron James participating in the success of what happens in Akron, Ohio? You can't say that LeBron James is not a reflection of what it is that he's advocating for, that he's controlled by the media, but then say the I Promise School is not. See, you don't want to compare his school to the I Promise School. It's hypocritical at best. Because every single point that he's making is debunked because the biggest celebrity that there is literally a reflection of not only what we supposed to be in the black community. Because LeBron James, let's be clear, LeBron James, as much as I don't like his politics, I also believe that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest player of all time. As much as I don't like LeBron James's politics, right? He is married to the mother of his children, unlike Umar Johnson. He has built schools, leveraged the system, put all of his friends on and brought them with him from high school, from middle school, let alone high school. He is literally a reflection of what we want within the black community on the big stage. What Tiger was supposed to be, what Kobe was supposed to be, what all of these people that they handpicked for us, LeBron James has exceeded expectations for what we thought he could be. And he married the mother of his children. And he's raising his boys to be millionaires. And he brought his friends along with him. And he built schools. And he funded not only for the kids to be able to go to school and go to college, but also partnered with the colleges in order to send their parents to college. What more do you want from this man? How much more do you need to give him before you stop calling him a coon? What else do you want from LeBron James? How much more can LeBron do for his community before you stop calling him out and using him as an example falsely for what it is that's wrong with the black community? I don't know what else you want from him. And that don't mean like LeBron is perfect. Again, it's stuff that I don't necessarily like about what it is that he's doing. But we're not going to take credit away from him just because he didn't hit your Cash App and he didn't donate to your school. He got his own school to be able to take care of.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is grassroots for me. I have all of these employees because I know old school radio. But if corporate America gives me dollars and I still use this platform, we got you on this platform.
Okay.
And you're saying what you're saying. How do I combat that? You see what I'm saying?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
If it's not all black, eventually it will be set back. You understand? So, although you may own the station, if you become overly dependent on white corporate sponsorship, technically you're not black anymore.
Well, we don't, but
This dude just said, technically you're not black anymore. Think about what he just said, Spencer Campbell. Shout out to Spencer Campbell for the super chat. I appreciate you. I'm about to read super chats, y'all, so we can continue. Think about what he said. He's literally just said, you're not black anymore if you take any money from anybody that doesn't look like you. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. Also, Soledad Brother says, love what you do. Keep teaching, brother. I appreciate you for the 10 ball and thank you for supporting the platform. Victoria, I appreciate you, Vic. Says, Consera has cybersecurity certifications. Once complete, you can earn about $80,000 coming out of it. And Coursera is like $49 a month. But you know they ain't going to do that. You know what they're going to do? They're going to hit Dr. Umar's Cash App, Victoria. That's what they're going to do. Thank you for the 5 ball and for the information. Thank you, Lovell. Lovell says, sup, Anton, you're a real one, bro. You know I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to say it exactly for what it is. Thank you. Double R says, Umar slapping accountable out his face like E Honda. E Honda. Shout out to the Street Fighter fans. Hugh31 says, look at his sweatshirt he is wearing. Really? A big corporation? Right, and he got a Philadelphia Eagles sweatshirt on. I wonder if any big corporation decided to support Umar Johnson, would he take the money?
Right. But you understand what I'm saying. There's black stations who are like that. Right.
That are on this station, and that's how it survived for the last 11 years.
Got you. So you're black. But what I'm saying is, you have stations around the country who started off black, fell in love with that white dollar, and they're no longer black anymore. You see, so the balancing act that you have to engage in and other black businesses of any kind has to engage in is how far do I go in accepting this white corporate sponsorship, support, or advertising before they start pulling back. Take me, I'm on the Breakfast Club, right? Yeah. Why do you think I'm only on the Breakfast Club once a year? Because the white corporate sponsors of the Breakfast Club are not interested in hearing Dr. Umar Johnson all the time, even though I get more views than your favorite rapper. You understand me?
Okay, but
power is about power. No white man is going to fund you.
You got a Charlemagne that does whatever the hell he does.
Yeah, but Charlemagne ain't Dr. Umar Johnson. You understand me?
Yeah, he's under contract. Okay.
No, Charlemagne is my brother, but he's not me. There's no other me. You understand? There's other brothers who getting there, but they ain't there yet. Right. Very few people.
Shout out to Umar Johnson for bigging up his own self. I love that. That's one thing that I do love about Umar Johnson is that he willing to say, yo, I am the king. I'm not really sure how true that is, but he will big himself up. I do it too, so gotta have that confidence.
People have my education who are willing to flip on the system and expose it the way that it is, who didn't leave the system because they were angry at the white man for disinviting them. See, I'm organic. Right. I wasn't trying to run for office and got the chair pulled out. I didn't have a big job with the white man and got the chair pulled out. A lot of these conscious guys came to black consciousness because the white man sabotaged them. If they never got sabotaged, they'll still be sitting next to their slave master.
All that tells me is you ain't never really had a job, man. Translation. I never actually poured into the community by doing anything productive and adding value. I never actually had a job, man. I've been living off donations for my entire life, man. That's what it sounds like to me.
You understand me? That ain't me. So their loyalty to the black community is conditional on income and finances. You see that? Wherever the money go, that's where their political ideology goes. You got to be careful. Listen. I was talking to a brother the other day. He said, Dr. Umar, I need you to help me push this agenda I'm working on to advertise black banks. We want black people to put their money in black banks. Totally agree, right? But then I said, what is your definition of a black bank? Because I'm a Pan-Africanist. So what that means is it got to be all black everything. I said, what is your definition of a black bank? You know what he
Yo, I'm reading Super Chat shortly.
51% black ownership. I said, I cannot support you. He said, but Doc, it's 51. It don't mean nothing. You can have 51% black ownership, one white man with 49%, and he still got more control than the rest of you all. If it ain't all black, don't call it black. You understand? My definition of a black business is not a black business co-owned by a black person. It's a black business owned exclusively by black people. Sure.
Meanwhile, he got a Philadelphia Eagles shirt on, but we're not going to say that.
You can do business with whites. I'm not against that. That's business. But ownership got to be us. If it ain't no black power, ain't going to be no black dollars.
So do you think that's the situation that happened with Kanye West and his downfall, sort of?
I have a view on Kanye. Number one, I have to commend Kanye West for being the first black billionaire since Michael Jackson to expose, control, of black media and entertainment in the way that he did. And even when they stripped him of his potential to make billions, remained stern and unapologetic in his position. You understand? I'm not going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Shout out to Kanye West for doing that. On the flip side, putting on my Garvey hat, I'm totally disappointed in this Negro who keeps snow bunny hopping with these damn white Caucasian women, divorced one, ran and married another one. Right. So my issue with Kanye is, although you are willing to stand on your principles, even in the face of a loss of money. See, Kanye's power is he's not married to money like all the other black entertainers are. Right. They're married to it. When you see Kanye, he's not always running around with 50 chains around his neck, showing off big cars. He look like he a brother sleeping on the street. Right. He's not in love with money, and that's why the white man can't control him. All of your other entertainers, they're in love with money, and that's the slave chain that the white man uses to control them. But Kanye is not committed to a black agenda. No. Kanye is committed to Kanye's best interest.
That's right.
You don't torpedo yourself and then say Kanye is committed to Kanye's. I will acknowledge that Kanye does talk a lot about black people, and then he go and marry a white chick. That's true. The problem with that is that I can say that because I'm actually married to a black woman. I'm not really sure Umar Johnson can say that because we need to see your marriage license that's married to Bonquisha. I need Umar Johnson to marry a Bonquisha and not be a Pookie baby daddy before he holds Kanye accountable about who it is that he decides that he wants to marry. That's all I'm saying. AJ says, LBJ just needs to be in a room with a guy like you. You one person removed. You know D'Lo. I do. I know D'Angelo Russell. Shout out to D'Angelo Russell. I know a few NBA players. Millennial Mark TV says, I wish we could work together like other groups. I personally lost out on a $35,000 project that could have been completed in 4 days. Had to pass it to a Hispanic colleague with the necessary manpower. We can work together. You just got to understand, Millennial Mark, that everybody is not meant to be together just because they look like each other. Character is just as, if not more important than what it is that you look like. I'm sorry about that $35K, but it's always more money. Don't feel a certain type of way. Patrick Hill says, so that means that Dr. Umar is a Pookie then. Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. Centennial G says, what's being missed here is the god of milk and Mylanta that's present. That's present when he looks up during this dialogue. Shout out to the flatbacks. Shout out to the flatbacks. Oh, Rita just made a pizza that look insane. Bring that to me, girl. You just got the charcuterie board. I'm trying to have my look. I got the charcuterie board. It's hot. Bring me the pan. I got the charcuterie board, and now this is what she just pulled out the oven. This is turkey pepperonis? Yeah. Oh my God. Here. I don't know how I'm going to get fit working from home. This is why I don't like working from home. Shout out to Centennial G. Also, Charles Martin, the negotiator, says at 3:47 of his Breakfast Club interview, Umar contradicted himself when he said he had to get white contractors to finish his school in 3 months when the black contractors could not finish it in 3 years. I didn't watch the Breakfast Club interview, so I'm going to have to go and check that out. Good catch. JB Quinton with the 10 ball said the majority of sports owners are Republican. He's giving a white corporation free promo. Talking about with that Philadelphia Eagles shirt. Brock says pass a love offering with the 5 ball. Always holding me down. Thank you, Brock. Droid Life says corporations are literally looking for black-owned startups to work with. I know because I coach some people that actually is a part of Expedia. It's a lot of different companies that's funding a lot of these startups that I'm a part of. But don't worry about it. That's for the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And the decision makers are black. And Umar says it's not black enough. Charles Martin says Umar wanted a school for blacks built by blacks. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's continue into the show. Thank y'all for the super chats. I'm reading it throughout the show.
He's not for the black community, but I still respect the fact that he stood up there.
Now, to segue into another subject, I just want to know how you felt about the situation with Tyree Nichols.
Oh, it was horrible. Unacceptable. I'll be in Memphis April the 3rd. It was unacceptable. And here's what I want black people. It was
disappointing to me because it was brothers.
I'm not surprised, though. There was a famous psychological study.
Let me guess. He going to blame it on the white man.
Anybody can go look it up. It was the Stanford Prison Experiment, Stanford University. The professor of psychology was Philip Zimbardo, I believe his name was. He did a prison study where he took random people off the street. He assigned some to the prison group, some to the prison police. So you're a prisoner or you police in the prison guard. He had to stop the study within about 2 days. Why? Because the prisoners, although they were not real prisoners, because they were put in the cell, began acting like it. And the prison guards, who were not prison guards, because they were given control over the prisoners, started becoming oppressive and acting just like regular city police. The conclusion of the study was, people are very susceptible to taking on the behavior of the identity you have given them. The point that I'm making is, although those police were black and they need to be held accountable by the black community for what they did to our brother, they were operating in the name of white supremacy.
Boy, was that predictable. If that wasn't the most predictable call that I've ever made in my life. Matter of fact, that was more predictable than anything that I predicted in 2023 that came to fruition. We knew that it was all going to come back to white supremacy and the white man. And I don't even say white, W-I-T-E. White, H-W-Y-T-E. We all knew that it was going to come back to the white man. No accountability, nobody else. Yo, I seen that coming a mile away. Who did not see that that was going to come back to white supremacy and the white man? There wasn't a white man with a baton that was kicking him upside his head. We knew it was going to be the white man's fault. You sell drugs in the community, it's the white man's fault. You beat up your own brother, it's the white man's fault. You slap your hoe in her face, it's the white man's fault. You leave your kids out to dry, even though you wanted to just get some other pussy, it's the white man's fault. The white man taught you this. The why. I bet you he just dreamed. I bet you he get a hard on when he see a white woman. White. I can't wait till I'll be able to blame whatever it is that I do on a white man. I can't wait to blame it on a white man. I can't wait to blame something that I did that was self-inflicted on white people.
They were Memphis police. Right. Because
nope, it didn't go over my head. Y'all be thinking, and that's why I'm opening up the chat at the end of the show, so make sure y'all came up. Y'all be thinking y'all so deep. Y'all are not deep. It didn't go over my head. He ain't that smart. I know I'm a C student, but it was not deep. It didn't go over. Oh, it's too deep. You not paying attention to the stars aligning and the chakras and what this white supremacy system is. It's over your head, clearly. Y'all be thinking y'all so deep. Y'all not deep. Just because you black and you got on lampshades, you know how them blackity blacks be wearing them shingles at the bottom of their shirts and stuff like that. They think this nigga got on a Philadelphia Eagle shirt on. Y'all be thinking y'all so deep. Y'all not deep. That went way over your head. Nigga, then why you ain't got no money? It's because you were part of the supremacy group, Anton. Man, shut that shit up. Y'all be so not deep at all. See it? And then look, and then when I'm going to open the link up for y'all, I'm going to let you be able to explain to me how deep it is. For all of y'all that's watching, new format at the show is at the end of the show, I'm allowing for anybody to be able to come up and give their thoughts. Make sure you got good lighting. Make sure I can see you on camera. And I want you to tell me how deep you are.
What the white police are trying to say, this ain't police brutality. This is black on black crime. It's actually both. It's police brutality because they were wearing your uniform, operating in your job, driving your car, operating with your consciousness.
That's right.
That was white.
Wait a minute. I thought y'all said that we need to be policed by our own. So we don't need to be policed. We need to change our uniforms. We need to get our cars from Africa. Should we get our cars from Africa? Is that going to change it?
Police brutality in a black face. You understand? Right. So those Negroes, and this is why you got to be careful about giving people who don't have power because they abuse it. Right. You can't take black men off the street, put them in charge of policing their own neighborhood and expect them to do it justly. We do have good black police, but that situation.
What? Did you hear what he just said? You can't take black people, put them in charge of policing their own, and expect them to do it. Hop on. What y'all? Okay. Before we continue with this video, I'm just curious. What do y'all want? What do you want? You want the state of Mississippi? You want Alabama to yourself so that y'all can then control whatever it is that you. What do you want? You don't want to be police for yourself. You want to be police for yourself. You don't want the white man policing you. You don't want the black man policing you. What do you want? Just somebody give me a solution. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? For my blackity blacks, what do you want? For the blackity blacks in the back, what do you want? Since y'all so deep.
of Memphis clearly shows that black people will take on the identity of whichsoever slave master pays their bills.
It was funny to me also that, you know, when these officers were arrested, they showed all these officers in their uniforms, and then the next day it's like, now y'all niggas, we got you in hoodies.
Yeah, it's the only police.
We got you in hoodies.
It's the only police brutality case you've seen in recent memory.
Where's Blue Lives
where they
Matter?
was fired immediately.
Yeah.
Arrested immediately. Charged immediately. The Fraternal Order of Police spoke out against them. When have you ever seen a Fraternal Order of Police speak out against police?
Even though they were in the wrong, what happened to the Blue Lives Matter? They didn't come
You know why?
to their rescue.
Because it's a double standard. It's a double standard.
So y'all do want police held accountable, just not as quickly as they did other police officers. I don't know what you niggas want. What do y'all want? What do y'all want? I'm very, very curious. What do you want? What do you want? Please give me a list of your demands, and I want to vet these effectively. For all of these people that's like, oh man, he's so deep, it's going over your head. Please give me some insight and information on how it is that we can accommodate you, even though you don't even pay no taxes. Y'all finessing, y'all stealing, y'all scamming, and y'all taking money from the federal government. You ain't got enough money to pay for your own schools, but I'm just curious as to what it is that you want.
And what that shows black people, and don't get me wrong, they deserve to be punished for killing that brother. But what that shows all black people, whether you work for the FBI, CIA, the court system, whether you're a lawyer, a teacher, a governor, a doctor, there's a double standard. And you will never get the protection that you are entitled to because you ain't got the complexion for the protection.
Now, speaking of police, they're with this bill they're trying to do the Capitol Police and pitting them really against JPD. When JPD was already underfunded and short-staffed, it was less police, you know, they were like 60, 100 police short. And instead of them giving Jackson Police Department, which is majority black, funding to hire more police officers, to pay the police officers more, they started this Capitol Police thing to, you know, do certain areas. And it's mostly out north.
That's right.
This Capital District Zone, and the expansion of it, to me, is gentrification 2.0. I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, I'm saying to myself, they're saying, okay, locking them up is helping, but it ain't switching this over fast enough.
Right.
The police killing them off, them killing each other is helping, but it ain't getting them out fast enough. The charter school movement has definitely helped gentrify black communities across the country, but it ain't getting them out fast enough. We need something that's going to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. So they said, let's try this. Let's see if the Negroes let us get away with this.
I want to make sure that we have some understanding on who it is that's coming up with this grand plan. Who are they? I'm just curious. Think about that, and then I want y'all to communicate it to me when y'all come up on the panel to hold me accountable.
We're going to abandon constitutional law. We're going to abandon local procedure. We're going to totally ignore local jurisdiction of the mayor and city council to make their own decisions and elect their own people. And we're just going to do a straight up Adolf Hitler Gestapo tactic and create a white heaven in the middle of a black hell. And we're going to see if they're going to let us get away with this. If this gets away in Jackson, it's going to go national. Because there's nothing more blatantly racist and unfair than for you to arrest due process and constitutional procedure to create a white city with all unelected officials, but you're going to charge the citizens of Jackson to pay for it. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. If this ain't a 1954, 1955, 1940 tactic, I don't know what is. But again, what are we going to do? Because the first law of physics is what? No force can be counteracted unless it's met with a force of equal or greater power.
Right.
So where is the black?
Hey, God bless these preachers and these spokespeople that that speak passionately with the last word that they say as though they just gave you a word. Like they was so deep. It's got to be met with equal or more power. Oh man, y'all still falling for the okie doke in 2023? Okay.
Power. Because sitting around begging white people to change, here's our biggest problem. We're more concerned with changing white people than changing ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also say this. I got to do more research on the water crisis. I got to do more research on the 1020 bill.
Yeah.
But guess what? This is the culmination of a process that began probably 20, 30 years ago.
That's right.
That slowly gained momentum over years while we sat by and did nothing. This is just the hammer falling.
Yeah.
But the hammer didn't begin to fall with the passage of this bill. It was already falling and we didn't do nothing about
It
it.
started falling when Jackson got his first black mayor.
Okay.
After that, things started switching.
So there's the history.
I totally agree.
Okay. I think we've heard enough. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Got one more thing that's probably going to take me 10 minutes to go over. Won't be long. But shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson that continues to give us all of this good old content that we going to react to until the end of time. I hope Umar Johnson lives a long and fruitful, phenomenal life because there is nobody that I like reacting to more than Umar Johnson. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. We appreciate you, big dog. Roger Marine says 26% of white women are single parents, 35% and 35% of black and 35% of black and Hispanic. Interesting stat. Optimus Prime says, I blame the white Decepticons for the for the air I breathe. Y'all have not got the likes up. Can we get the likes up? We got over 1,000 people in here and we ain't got the likes up. What the hell is happening? Thank you, Optimus Prime. I appreciate you. Patty Jackson says, I know this is off topic, but what's your opinions on calls and put options? Options trading is for the devil. I think that you need to stay away from options trading. I do not know an options trader in my life that has ever come out ahead of time. Or not ahead of time, but ahead in general. So I don't like options traded. I don't believe in it. Kareem YT says, ties and all friends, Anton, brother Umar hasn't done enough concrete work to talk as much as he has. It's wild out here, Kareem. It is absolutely insane. Shout out to Mike Jones with the 20 ball, another 20 ball, after the 50 ball and said, power! Like Dr. Umar Johnson. Oh, my God. What is happening out here in these streets? Mike Jones, who? Mike Jones is in the building. All right, last thing that I want to cover is that it was an article that came out on MoneyWise as a result of Yahoo Finances. And I'm going to read the specific article. It says, a salary below this amount is a dating deal breaker for many Americans. Survey shows why you should talk money on your very first date. Let me say that again. Why you should talk money on your very first date. I'm going to go over the article with you guys, and then I want you to go ahead because I'm going to put the link for y'all to be able to cam up. I'm about to drop the link for y'all to be able to cam up. So now you have your opportunity to be able to come up here and help me to understand why I'm wrong. Why is Anton from AntonDaniels.com wrong? I am putting the link. I am turning it on. Well, before I get with this, let me switch I might have a little bit of a hiccup. Give me a second. Moderators, make sure the people get that link. Join the live stream. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I am dropping that link now. So you guys are more than welcome to be able to come up and then help me to understand why it is that I'm wrong. But this says specifically, a salary below this amount is a dating deal breaker for many Americans and why you should talk about money on the first date. So let's go over it. It says, thinking about getting down on one knee this Valentine's Day. Obviously, that was yesterday. Don't make the big move without first being bold about your financial needs and goals. Financial services company Western and Southern Financial Group surveyed over 1,000 married Americans. Now, these are married people that actually talked about this, about their financial triggers. about their financial triggers and found that 1 in 3 couples waited until after marriage to talk about important financial topics, with salary being the biggest topic they wish that they talked about sooner. On average, Americans said they want their partner to be making at least $30,000. Let's just round up. $30,000. Some of the most common financial deal breakers include having outstanding personal loans and credit card debt. I'm not opposed to it. Okay. Financial activist Daisha Kennedy, also known as the broke black girl, say couples should be having conversations about money as early as the very first date. Now, that's where we break at. I do not believe that couples should be having conversations about money as early as the very first date. And let me tell you why. It's easy for a woman to say that, but a man of means that is being successful, right? We don't want your entirety of whether or not you rocking with us to be based off of whether or not we got money that you want to take care of or you looking to retire, right? Now, it's a difference in understanding what things look like from a financial perspective, but I'm not talking money with you on a first date. And as a married man, I am advising people to completely leave that out of the conversation. This is one of the reasons why I tell y'all that y'all shouldn't date at all. You should be aligning yourself with people in your network because you just naturally start to attract yourself to people that is equally yoked and going in the direction that you're supposed to be going in. So, for example, you don't have to ask somebody on the first date as far as trying to understand what their financial situation is, what it is that they do for a living and all of this, because that does not substantiate whether or not they're going to be a good person for you. Think about this, y'all. If a person asks you what's your credit score on the first date, you rocking with them or is that an automatic turnoff? If a person asks you how much personal debt you got, if you've actually applied for the student loan forgiveness program from Biden, is y'all rocking with it or no? Now, when y'all come up on this panel, I need you guys to be on camera. Do not come up on the panel and do not be on camera, okay? Let's continue a little bit longer, and then we're going to go ahead and start bringing people up because I want to get y'all thoughts. Said, why it's important to have the money talk. Kennedy, who has worked as an accountant and loan default counselor, divorced her husband after realizing they weren't financially compatible. What is the number one reason in which people then divorce the person that they rocking with? Money. Money is the number one reason why people decide that they want to get a divorce. One way or another, it's not that you're not making enough. It's whether or not we make enough in order to overcome these other issues that we're dealing with. Because let me tell you, a woman is going to stick with a rich guy as long as he got that money. All right. Kennedy, who's working as an accountant, the divorce left her $25,000. How you realize you're not financially compatible after you get married? The divorce left her $25,000 in debt, and it took her 5 years to financially recover from. It says, had we initiated more financial conversations in the beginning, and I'm okay with that, just not on the first date, we probably would have either decided early on that we were just not financially compatible to be in a relationship, let alone be married. 2022 survey from the Knot found that being secretive about finances or dishonest about how you're spending your money is one of the biggest deal breakers in a relationship. And then it goes into how to talk about money when dating. So, in my personal opinion, I do not agree with what's going on in the article. I do not agree with the idea that you should be talking about money on a first date. I think being financially compatible, it does make sense, but you also have to take into consideration that men don't necessarily care how much money a woman makes when he's trying to actively vet, especially if you're successful as a man, when he's trying to actively vet for a person that's supposed to be in his wife or be in his life. I'm going to start bringing y'all up. Let's see what we got here. All right. Let's see what we got. First person. I cannot bring you up if you are not on camera. I cannot bring you up if you are not on camera. Donovan. Don. Can you see me? Can you hear me, Don? Don, you look frozen. You got to unmute yourself, Don. You struggle streaming right now, Don. Donovan. I can't hear you. You struggle streaming, big dog.
All right. Is this better?
I can hear you a little bit more. What's happening?
I just had a different perspective. I agree with what you're saying.
Don, you breaking up big time, big dog. You breaking up. Are you on a Wi-Fi, Don?
Try to reload it.
Are you on a Wi-Fi, big dog?
No. Let's see. No.
Try to jump on the Wi-Fi so I can actually hear what you're saying.
All right, hold on 1 second.
So while you try to get that together, I'm gonna bring up E-Man. Manuel, what's up, big dog?
How you doing, brother? You having a good day today?
Chilling. Trying to figure it out, man. Trying to make it do what it do. What's the word?
So it's a couple of different things. I guess I'll go backwards. So we'll first talk about that last article that you actually talked about. I actually believe that if you're seriously dating, so I mean not just messing around, if you're looking to court a person for marriage, finances need to be talked about. So it all depends on what state of mind. I think, yes, you need to get to know that person. The first date might be get to know who they is by person, but one thing that I did with my wife is I checked her credit. I seen what kind of debt that she had. And on top of that, the one thing I did was finances was a big part, whether she fit into.
At what point did you check her credit?
We was dating for maybe a month, and then I said we would start talking about maybe being serious and taking this thing to the next level. And I presented my
and
credit.
You checked their credit?
I checked her credit. Well, I asked her. So what I said is this right. I said, this is my credit. This is the type of debt I'm in. This is kind of where I'm going in my life. Are you open to being able to show me your credit? And she said, yes, she had nothing to hide.
And did it matter what her credit score was going to be?
100%. Hell yeah, it mattered. If she
what was a deal breaking credit score?
So it really wasn't credit score was something that I was really big on. It was debt. You know, when I met my wife, being transparent, she had about $10,000 worth of debt. I was willing to take on that. But if she would have said had $100,000 in school loans or she owed a whole bunch of different, it would have been a deal breaker. I wouldn't have seen that made sense to me financially.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't have no problem with that whatsoever. Okay. So how early do you think that people should be discussing finances?
I think anytime that you actually going towards the courting phase. So when I'm talking about courting phase, I mean like if we're talking about moving towards marriage and we're not just sleeping around or doing some things like that. I think it should go up as soon as possible because I would hate to be already emotionally invested into someone and then and then I find out that financially I don't want to.
You said as soon as possible?
Yeah, what I'm saying is as soon as I know that I want to pursue this woman as from a marriage point of view, I think that's when I should be finding out about her finances.
Okay. I don't necessarily have a problem with that.
All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is Dr. Umar Johnson. I don't understand why Black people are fighting so hard to get back to segregation. It's almost like they're like, we want to get back to segregation. And me being an entrepreneur, I done got a lot of money outside of my race. Matter of fact, majority of the people who supported me wasn't my race. They was the people who really want to see me grow and to be able to build, just take things to the next level. I just think it's a bad mindset that says that only Black people can help me. You know, it's companies that I run that, you know, non-Black people have 10%. That doesn't qualify me to be Black. Or I'm not Black because I took money, but you on here begging for money. You begging. Like every time I see him turn around, he'll take the white person money, but he wanted to be free. He don't want to give them equity. And I think it's just completely crazy for us to have the mindset.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, he be begging for their money.
You say he don't want to give equity?
Yeah, so he want people to give grants. He don't want investors. He more want like donations, the cash apps. Hey, he want a person to come and spend $100,000 as a donation but they don't get nothing out of the deal. So he's not looking for investors, he's looking for donators. And I think it's crazy. I think right now the white man and his words write him a check, he gonna cash it. Now he can say all this, I only take Black people money and this company's not black if it's an owner to have some whiteness in it. I think it's crazy that black people need to stop trying to fight for segregation. We fought so hard to get out of segregation so that we can use other people and other races to be able to leverage ourselves. And we the only person only want to use black people money. Every other race, they'll use everybody else's money.
Donovan, you agree with that? What are your thoughts? Or do you have something else that you wanted to address?
Yeah, I just had something that I wanted to say about the whole money conversation that was going on there. I hate, and maybe just my profession. I'm a young guy, 26 years old, and I make six figures. And due to my profession, I'm a firefighter. So I hate the fact that we as men don't look at women's money. And I get that's the case for most people in normal tech fields.
We don't look at what is money. We don't look at what?
Like value a woman and what they may be able to contribute financially. Now,
Okay.
not necessarily saying that a woman has to make six figures or whatever for you to date her, but you busting down the chick that's works at Target, that's not a good look. No, because in maybe it's just my profession, like I said, but if I die, I don't want my kids to grow up poor and struggle. You know what I'm saying? Because mom can't bring nothing, and what's mom gonna do? She gonna strip, whatever. I don't care how good she
Well,
looks like.
that's why you got a good life
Some type
insurance
of
policy,
potential.
right?
I mean, yeah, but still, you have to have.
You got frozen over there. What's up, King Colin?
What's up, Mr. Anton?
What's your thoughts on what's going on, big dog? I'm gonna wait till he clears up too. Go ahead.
Real. Well, first of all, that was an amazing charcuterie board you had, man.
It's still there.
It's fantastic. So my thoughts. First of all, I wanted to say that I actually went on Dr. Umar Johnson's Instagram live like 2 times, calling him out about how you reached out to him and he didn't want to, actually.
You called him out about me?
Yeah. I was
What did he say?
He actually ignored the question and just stared at the camera while the question was on the screen.
You can't force him. We don't want to bully him.
Very true. I just wanted to see exactly what he wanted to say about that. Outside of that, though, I just wanted to say about the Asian lady. I forgot what her name was. I'm not sure if you or anyone remembers her name. She was crying about losing her job, which makes it very obvious to me that people, especially in the workforce, that are losing their positions, they're very emotional towards something that wasn't for them. And I find that very interesting. I'm not sure if that's a disagreement or not.
What do you mean they're emotional about the thing that wasn't for them? What does that mean?
Like, if you get laid off, that means that the position wasn't for you anymore because they didn't see any value in you, or they didn't value you enough in order for you to keep your position. So I don't see how exactly that someone could become a YouTuber or a content creator or something like that, and they bring their work life into it and they think that's going to give a positive result for their position.
Yeah, I think that layoffs is just a part of the culture. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be good times. There's going to be bad times. I think that the first time somebody gets laid off is actually not a bad thing. It's a learning experience, and that it gives them a perspective that they shouldn't be putting all of their eggs in one basket anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage people to make themselves more marketable and don't wait for something to happen to you before you do the thing that's in your own best interest. I like it when people get laid off, and even though it may be devastating to them, I think that long term is probably one of the best things for them because it's actually a learning experience instead of something that's actually bad for them. I think that suffering and going through things is the thing that make you greater.
I agree completely. Man, do you agree?
I think a layoff can be a sign that you've been at a job too long. The one thing I think one of the greatest things I heard Anton say is that you should be feeling some type of way at 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years.
You remember that?
You're supposed to be looking at, hey, what's the opportunities and how can I move? I felt my company should need me. I should need them. So I have always had things on the side. What I did is I took the money that I made for my job and I leveraged it in Airbnbs and other investments so that I could be able to use their money as a tool. So I think it just came down to she got comfortable she was emotional because she really didn't have a plan. But if she was really doing something on the side that was profitable, she would have just looked at it like most people who really moving with purpose just say, it is what it is. I'm just gonna grind a lot harder in my side hustle.
So let me ask y'all a question though. Is everybody meant to have a side hustle? Is everybody meant to have another job? Is everybody meant to open up a business?
I think everybody should have a business. Just because if you understand how America is actually created, it's designed for business owners and not employees. So even if your business is not that profitable, it still will save you a lot of money on the taxes you're paying at your job.
I believe everyone should have a
You've
side
been
hustle.
paying attention to the king. I see.
Well, I think we just got to be students of people who winning. There's so many people, students of people who's losing, and they wonder why they don't have the results in their life. It's plenty of times that I tell people is that it doesn't make sense. You telling me you ain't good at nothing. What did that company see in you to see a business aspect? Everybody should do a business. It's nobody that I have personally talked to can't find something. What it really comes down to is a lot of people just lazy. They just want to work.
I don't think that everybody should have to run a business. I think that understanding and looking at things from a business perspective could incentivize you to create a business, and then whether you become profitable as a result of utilizing your time after you get off of work in order to do something extra is different. The other side of it is though, for example, you may have a woman, right, that's married and she just got her a job or whatever, and that just contributes into the household. And she don't necessarily run a business or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it may be circumstantial more than anything. I also know some millionaires that that's never necessarily ran a business, but they understood how to look at things from a business perspective. And so because they were able to control what it is that they have from a lifestyle perspective, and they don't live extravagantly now because it's different types of millionaires, right? It's millionaires that have a large amount of money that's built into their real estate portfolio or their home. And then in addition to that, they may have, a decent 401k and things like that, but they don't necessarily make a whole lot of money, right? They're just very, very smart with how it is that they utilize their resources. They don't need a whole bunch of stuff. They don't need the big cars or anything like that because they're not necessarily marketing themselves for anything. And so as a result, their portfolio says that they're a millionaire, but they don't necessarily live like it. But then you have other people that generate a lot of revenue. They are a little bit more visible. They may be generating a lot of revenue, but then at the same time, they still have a large portfolio of assets that allow for them to also be designated as a millionaire. And so it's just different types of millionaires, right? But the point is, I think, is understanding things from a business perspective versus opening up a business, because a lot of times opening up a business is just creating another job for yourself. I think that that's two different things. So
I think I really being an entrepreneur. The one thing that's been sticking out to me is owning the system. If you can get a system that spins off revenue or bring revenue, I think is a better asset to you. But I think even if a millionaire said, I'm not a business owner, but I got 6 or 7 properties and I got somebody standing there paying me, they're still functioning in a business aspect. Do you agree with that?
you say even if you're a millionaire, say that last part again.
So if you are a millionaire, and you bought 6 or 7 properties, say you're renting them out or whatever you're doing with it, you still operating as a business, even though it's
I agree. I just think that you have to. The caveat to that is that you have to be able to look at things from a business perspective before you open up the business. Because just because you open up a business don't mean that you're looking at it from a business perspective. You open up a business without looking at it from a business perspective, you create another job for yourself. Doesn't mean that you're going to benefit from how it is that you're supposed to operate and get all of the tax breaks, all of the benefits, all of the write-offs, and then be in the right business for what it is that you're doing. That's the difference, right? A lot of people open up a business just because somebody taught them how to open up an LLC, right? And then get a bank account and then get a tax ID or EIN off the government website. Anybody can go and do that. Anybody can be the CEO of their own company, but very few people know how to leverage that and look at it from a business perspective that then allows for them to be able to benefit from it on the back end of it. That's the difference. Opening up a business after you understand things from a business perspective versus not understanding things from a business perspective and then opening up a business, you just created another job for yourself. You're going to work harder for yourself than you did in corporate America, make less money because you really don't know what you're doing. That's the difference. A lot of people, they got this big flex. I'm the boss of my own company. Well, what does that mean? That don't mean anything to me. Now, if you can explain to me how that makes sense for you from a business perspective, that's a completely different conversation. And that's the conversation that we're not having within our community. We only have a conversation of start your own LLC or whatever. Okay, and then what? How do I market effectively? How much money should I put into it, right? What are my expenses? What are my revenue? What's my return on investment? How am I supposed to bookkeep more effectively so that I don't find myself in a problem with the IRS? Do I need a CPA? Do I need an accountant? How do I do my payroll, right? How much taxes do I need to pay? How much insurance do I need to have on my business? Do I need a brick and mortar as a result of it, or is it completely e-commerce, or is it completely social media, right? And how do I then leverage that business in order to get more benefits from a tax perspective from the federal government legally that then would allow me to be able to maximize what I'm doing in my regular job and reduce the taxes that I'm paying there. And so a lot of people don't really understand how to look at things from a business perspective, which is one of the reasons why I got the Patreon, right? And the Patreon allows for people to not have to buy no courses. You ain't got to spend no $500, $800, and nothing like that. You unlock every single video because I'm trying to take you into the mindset of somebody that's successful, not just give you some basic information that's not going to manifest anything in your life. And so when people start to look at it from that perspective, then we start to mine out the discussion. Then you start to teach people how to get rich. Then you start to teach people how it is that you can lower your taxes legally. And I'm not a financial advisor, so let me add that caveat. But my point is that a lot of people truly don't understand how to look at it. Because then you start to translate it across the board. Then you're able to leverage a marriage from a business perspective. Then you start to understand networking more effectively. And it's not just, I'm about to go to this networking event and see who it is that I can connect with and exchange phone numbers. Now you start to put systems in place similar to what you said. You don't just have a bunch of people in your phone that you're not utilizing. You got a system in which you call 3 people a day, five minutes per person, 15 minutes a day. You're able to get rid of certain people that's in your contacts and then add others, which then would allow you to be able to leverage relationships in order to continue to grow in corporate America or what it is that you got going on a social media perspective. I just got done talking to Angry Man today. I literally just 10 minutes before I got on this live stream, I was talking to Angry Man and we were strategizing on how it is that we were going to leverage our platforms in order to continue to build each other up, right? People don't understand business. They don't. They don't know how to network effectively. They don't know how to build each other up. They don't know what a marriage truly is and what it's supposed to mean in addition to having sex and love. They don't even know what the tax thresholds are for married people versus single people. And so because they don't know that, we're so behind as a community. And it's not that the knowledge is not out there. It's that we're not aligning with the people that's actually giving the information that will add value to your life. We so busy focused on the things that don't matter instead of leveraging our relationships in order to really, really be able to grow. We rather spend time talking about some bullshit instead of spending time on how it is that we can add value into each other's lives. And that's what we do in the Bag Chasers. We don't fuck around. We have fun, we party, we have drinks, and then I help them to understand this coaching session right here is a tax write-off for you. Make sure you leverage that. Let me show you how to do it. This is the software that I'm using in order to make sure that I do bookkeeping. You can utilize this too. It's free for you. You don't have to spend no money over here. Instead, allocate that resource over here in order to be able to market yourself more effectively and increase sales. Why are you trying to do drop shipping if you got this system set up like that? Drop shipping is for this person. This person shouldn't be drop shipping because they need to be controlling their costs more by leveraging this A, B, C, and D. And so those are the conversations that I have with people on the coaching calls instead of sitting there talking about a bunch of bullshit. A lot of people can say a lot of things, but very few people know how to talk about it or deal with it from a business perspective, which is why no matter how much education people like Umar Johnson have, and no matter how much you look at people that say, I got all of these degrees like the Boyce Watkins, very few people can stand in front of me because when we start getting to the brass tacks of things, I'm going to be able to mine out whether you know what the fuck you're talking about or not, just by having a simple conversation with you, because you can't hide from people that's actually living it on a regular basis. You cannot hide. You can't hide. I'm going to find out one way or another. And I feel comfortable standing in front of anybody talking my shit. Don't matter who you are, from what industry you in, we can talk that business talk. That's my wheelhouse right there.
So I do have a question because when you played that first video with the Asian lady, um, I had a question. So from not looking at it from the employee point of view,
Mm-hmm.
looking at it from the business owner, how do you feel that you analyze someone's social media presence to a company? Do you think that you see if they're going to be beneficial or it's going to be detrimental to the employer?
Well, you got to look at it from this perspective. Everything that we do is marketing, right? So the first thing that I do when I look to hire somebody, I look at their resume, right? And the first thing I do is I go to all of these social media platforms. The people that I really, really like are the ones that already list their social media platforms on their resume or as a part of their profile, whether they're on LinkedIn or whatever, so on and so forth. Because that means that they're intentional about you seeing what it is that they're best at, right? And so now you have to start going through and you have to start curating as a content creator. Every last one of us are content creators, whether we like it or not. You have to start curating what it is that you're putting out there because that's the thing that you attract. It's similar to what we talk about when it comes to relationships. We say, be the thing that you're looking to attract. If you're looking to be for the streets and you're showing your ass every day, that's the type of energy you're going to get. If you operating based off of being real. Now, you don't want to be too stoic. You don't want to be too mannequin-like. You don't want to be too polished because what happens is we can't see the real humanity in you, which we trying to figure out when we look at your social media, whether or not you culturally fit. We trying to figure out whether or not we can work with you, whether you're personable, whether you're a fun person to be around, but you're not too sketchy. You're not too out there for the streets. You're not trying to make us look bad. And so I think that the best social media profiles have a combination of both. They have a combination of bringing in the realistic human aspect of you because when you go into an interview, you sell it. I don't want to give too much game. I don't want to go into the interview thing. I'll give you
already
this.
giving it out.
When you go into an interview, you have to realize that every single thing you do, you're selling yourself. You're selling them on why you're going to be a good fit for what it is that they're doing in their company. So when you go into an interview, you're really a reflection of your social media profile, and they should be hand in hand. They should be a reflection of each other. So I'll give you an example. A lot of people try to answer the right question when they go into the interview instead of bringing it back to a human level. So if somebody say, for example, this is a famous question. Well, what is a problem that you used to have at your old job that you know was an Achilles heel for you or you couldn't quite get over, or something that you feel like you could have did better at? The standard answer, the standard right answer is supposed to be, well, I cared too much, or, I didn't do this. No, what you need to do in the interview process is identify something that's really bad. Yo, when I first got there, I wasn't a cultural fit because I thought that I was supposed to go in there and I was supposed to be all uptight and this and that and so on and so forth. I was getting there on time, but I wasn't really trying to understand the people. You need to make whatever it is that you did relatable to a human level because, believe it or not, people want to see the flaws in you. They want to see the issues. The other side of it is that you need to identify how you overcame it. Because again, you're selling yourself on the fact that you're human, but you also giving them some insight on how you're going to be a cultural fit. So they're not necessarily looking for the right answer. They looking for you to be relatable to them. And so nobody wants a snitch. Nobody want a whistleblower. Nobody want this woman that's going to me too you. Nobody want all of those type of things. So subconsciously, we're looking for something even though we're going off of an interview script. We're looking for the human aspect of you. And so your social media profile also needs to be a reflection of that without being too ratchet, without being too mannequin-like and stoic, without looking too perfect. You need to show the human side of you. And that's the real sales pitch. When somebody comes up to you and they try to sell you something, the reason that they send kids is because kids are more vulnerable. They're more relatable. They're going to make mistakes. They're not going to say they words perfectly. But then you find them adorable because they're children. They're something that we can relate to subconsciously that's innocent. We're going to automatically buy for them and all of this other type of stuff. It's something in that. And people are not trying to understand the science of how humans think. They just trying to give the right answer. The right answer is not going to get you the job. Being relatable, being a cultural fit, understanding how people think, curating your social media profile to be a reflection of how it is that you want people to see you, not how you see yourself, is going to be the thing that launches you into corporate America, that gets you the job and gets you promoted. It's the human aspect of things that actually get you to where you need to be. It's not that other stuff. It's not the right answer. Nobody cares about the right answer. If you don't even know the answer and you tell somebody in the interview process, man, you know what, to be honest with you, I don't even really know the answer. But I'm the type of person that will spend all night trying to figure it out. I'm the type of person that will not sleep until I know the right answer, because for me, it's not necessarily about being the smartest in the room. It's about understanding, learning, and it's also about getting up early enough to get there first. Like, if you make it relatable and not try to be perfect, you will nail that interview every single time. I dropped a video on the Patreon that said interview like a king. I give every single tip that you need in order to land that interview every single time. And I don't know anybody that did not watch that video before they went into the interview process that didn't land a job. Not one person. You can look at the comments on the video inside of the Patreon and tell me that these people ain't killing it.
They are. If anyone isn't on the Bag Chasers, man, you need to get with the movement, because he got some information on there. It's life-changing.
I'm telling you, bro. It's real. It's real. But a lot of people are not leveraging the information because they too busy focused on how they feel instead of being focused on the thing that gets them the results.
I just wanted to say thank you for letting me onto the panel. I got to keep
absolutely moving. My friend. Thank you for rocking out.
I'm gonna rewatch because you dropped so many jewels just in that little monologue you just gave. So,
yeah, I don't want to give out too much information because I got to reserve that for the Bag Chasers. Thanks, Colin.
All right, so I got to ask the question that the people in the chat want to know.
What they want to know?
I got a question. So, what do Dr. Umar Johnson got to do to get you to invest in this this school? Like, what he need to do for you to write that check for $100,000 for them kids? Because it's for the kids, Anton, and even for Dr. Umar. What do you need to do?
No, it's not for the kids. I don't think it's for the kids. I would never invest in that school because I do business with good people. I think that your character also got to be a reflection. The leadership it starts at the top. And so I think that character matters more. I don't think that, if I had to say it myself, I don't think that Dr. Umar Johnson is a person that should be running anything. I think that he's a phenomenal orator. I think that he knows how to route, how to get people going. I think that he communicates effectively. I think he knows how to tap into certain parts of people. And his talent, personally, his talent is not in leadership from a running a organization or a business perspective. Clearly, his talent isn't that. And we all have different talents. And I think that the problem, I'm not even going to put it on Dr. Umar. I'm going to just use him as an example. I think that the problem with Dr. Umar and a lot of us, right, is that we don't lean into the thing that's great about us. We try to do everything. We try to be the accountant. We try to be the lawyer. We try to be the marketer. We try to be the business person. We try to be the editor. We try to be the talent and all of that. Some of y'all don't need to have a YouTube channel. Some of y'all need to be the person that helps somebody else get their channel together and be the manager. It's managers. I don't want to give out that game. Because me and Just Pearly Things talked about it. Go watch the Just Pearly Things interview in its entirety inside of the Patreon for those of y'all that's watching it. It's people that make more money as managers than the people that's actually on YouTube that's the talent. It's a lot of money in so many different things, but everybody want to be a star instead of actually looking at the thing that's great about them. And it's similar to Dr. Umar Johnson. I don't think that he's a person that should be running or administrating or overseeing a business from the top. He is not a CEO, in my opinion. He is not a person that should be operating based off of ownership. Everybody is not going to be the owner. Everybody can't be the CEO. Everybody can't be the president. Everybody can't be the vice president. Somebody got to, be the marketer. Somebody has to be a vice president. Somebody needs to be the CTO, the chief technology officer. Somebody needs to do other people need to do things that then add value to the business. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to get rich too. If you look at the inception of all of these great companies, of the Apples, of the Microsofts or whatever, Steve Ballmer, he wasn't immediately the CEO, right? Yeah. Steve Wozniak, who was also a partner or a part of the startup, and Apple is literally a billionaire. He ain't Steve Jobs though. And the beautiful thing about Steve Jobs is that Steve Jobs realized that he wasn't a developer. Steve Jobs is like an orchestrator. He was like a person that put the right people together in order to make sure that he adds the most value into the company. And so when we start to realize what our value is and how it is that we can contribute to certain things, Then that's when we start to be successful. Then that's when you will be able to, leverage certain relationships and things like that. But I think that a lot of times people are so caught up in trying to be the boss and trying to be the face that they didn't lose out on their blessing. What's up, Crown? How you feel, big dog?
Hey, what's up, Anton?
Thank you for holding me down, bro. How you? What's your word? What's your thoughts?
No, I just got into real estate like a year ago.
Hmm.
I came from like working in a prison, so I'm adjusting from the prison guard mentality to the business mentality, and
Okay.
that's been like the biggest thing I feel like that's holding me back when it comes to business because I have to learn how to go from being person like real private to being out there in social media. I'll hop on streams from time to time here and this on YouTube, but what advice can you offer just to kind of like shake that mentality and start to get into a business mentality?
To shake the mentality of being a worker, or shake the mentality of working in the prison system.
I would say a worker mentality, but so much of like keeping everything so private. Like I seen your stream about the social media thing, and I thought
Hmm.
it was absolutely amazing.
Talking about in the Patreon.
But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
a bag chaser, so but yeah, that's been my big issue is just shaking that. Hey, you got to really be out there in front of people, like mentality.
So you probably identify more as an introvert than an extrovert, right?
Not really, surprisingly.
So
It's
you
just
are a personable person and you don't mind getting out and participating with people. You just don't mind. You don't want to necessarily share what you have going on social media. Is that what you're saying?
kind of. It's so much like I don't like to put too much out there. Like you say, don't put anybody out there that you don't want coming back later on, like with these live streams and stuff.
Hmm.
But if you like see on social media, I'm a family man. I have a wife. I got 4 kids, so I love my family. I'm all about my family. But it's still that like I only let it out so much, and then I find myself putting out a lot of like stale like business stuff, like oh this open house, oh this is what's going on. But I want to be able to get out there more so I can reach more people.
You okay? Let me give it to you a couple different ways. A, you got to not care about what other people think. If you are going to participate and grow as far as being able to market yourself from a social media perspective, you also gonna have to understand that it's gonna be somebody that hates you regardless of how perfect you are or how precise you present yourself. It comes with the territory. So first you got to get out of your feelings and you got to stop worrying about what everybody else think about you. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing that you have to start having a conversation about is what type of content do you want to put out there and who's going to be your target audience? Who's your target audience?
My target audience are people 25 to about like 40, people who may be looking to get their first house and stuff. But I want to be able to expand just past, what I do for work. And I want people to see me as the person, so much, not just a
Why?
real estate agent.
Why?
Because I feel like being able to be relatable to people
I'm not
is,
saying you're wrong. I just want to know your why.
oh, because I feel like people being able to relate to me and really understand me will help
Hmm.
them connect with me better, which will allow me to connect with them better to get them exactly what they're looking for versus just, the cookie cutter person trying to get you to buy a house.
So you're trying to separate yourself from the pack by making yourself more relatable so that people can then reach out to you and do business with you.
Correct.
Well, you got to show other aspects of your life and your personality that makes them identify with you. You got kids. You're a family man.
Correct.
You're a father. You got a wife. All of those type of things. What's the point of having a freaking wife if you can't leverage who she is in order to get more business?
My
I
wife is
know. I'll give you
very
an example. I'll give you a perfect example, and then you can take it from here. I know that there's a certain segment of the people that's watching this live stream right now that the only reason that they started rocking with me in the first place is because they actually was rocking with Rita. There is people that has met me in person and then met Rita. I'll give you a person specifically. Q. Q is cool with me, but she love Rita. And look at Rita laughing right now because she know it's true. Q love. If I want to get to Q, if I want to, because Q will fight me. Q will be like, Anton, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to do that or whatever. Now, I know that if I want to get to Q, I'm going to have to go through Rita because Rita can do a better job of convincing her than Q is. But my point is that I'm leveraging every single thing that I have inside of my arsenal in order to be able to market myself more effectively, not only to the people online, but also to the people that I have in my personal life. If I want to get to my brother, and if I want him to do something that I want to do, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna call him. I'm gonna tell my daughter to call him and then talk to him. I'm going to tell my daughter as soon as she get from home, hey, call your Uncle Greg and make sure that you ask him this, that. So he not even gonna blink. He gonna say yes immediately. Now, if I call him, he gonna be like, oh my God, Anton, what you want from me? Rita, you know it's true. I can call him right now and he gonna be like, oh Jesus, what do you want? Rita's cracking up because you know it's true. Or if Rita call him. Now, if I have Leslie call him, no, he's just like butter in her hands. You think I ain't utilizing my daughter in order to leverage that? It's the same thing when it comes to social media. It's the same thing when it comes to marketing. I know that there's a segment of the population that I'm going to offend. And I'm going to purposely offend them. I'm going to tell them, fuck your feelings. I'm going to tell them I don't give a fuck about you. You a whore. You for the streets. I'm going to tell the guys this and that and so on and so forth. And I know that some of them is going to come back simply because they know that I got me a Rita. And we love Rita. We don't really fuck with Anton, but we love Rita. But that's going to allow for me to actually be with them long enough so that they can hear my message, and then they're going to be connected. Because if you're not connected with me, you're going to be connected with the idea that I'm married. And if you're not connected with the idea that I'm married, there's somebody that's going to identify with me because I'm a father, right? When I go to company events, I use my family. I don't go alone. I'll be like, hey, we got an event coming up on this particular day. I'm going to need you to put your Sunday's best on, and I'm going to need you, Leslie, to have a really good attitude when we go to this corporate event. And then I walk in like family man. And, hey, guys, what's going on, y'all? Y'all over there playing racquetball? Let me go over there and get it. And then I market myself. Everything is sales. And so when you go online and you selling these houses, people are not buying houses from you because they can't find a real estate agent. People are going to buy houses from you because they like you, and you're going to have to find whatever it is that you can use in your arsenal, whether it's your wife or your kids, in order to be able to market yourself to a segment of the population that you otherwise would not have had access to. That's what they there for. If she can't get out and get you some more business, what the fuck she over here eating all of the food for in the refrigerator? Get the fuck out the refrigerator and go get me some people, some more clients. When I go to the game, I walk in the front, and as soon as I hit the floor, I tell Rita, you walk in front of me. I go over there, I go shake some hands, and then I walk behind her. And by the time I get caught up to her, she'd be like, Anton, I want you to meet this person over here, so on and so forth. It's strategic. Every single thing is strategic. How we walk, where we walk, what we do, who we take with us, how we appear when we walk into the door, so on and so forth. It's all strategic.
Yeah, and I think another layer to it is that when people go from employee, and this might not be you, but when people go from an employee to employer, they're the nicest employer. Like they wake up when they want to, they get up at 10 o'clock, they show up, say, you know what, they're too nice. I think you should you should be harder on yourself than another boss would have been hard on you. And so I'm like really on my schedule, on purpose, with saying, I said I'm going to do this. Why I wasn't 15 minutes late? I'm harder on myself than anybody else can be harder than me. And I know that might be extreme, but sometimes you got to look at yourself as a third party and not you managing your schedule, but you're managing an employee schedule. And I think
I'll do you one better, E. I'm going to give y'all a little bit. So probably a little over a year ago, I had the Millionaire Morning Show to where I had both me and Rita on there. E, you might have remembered that. Some people in the chat that's been rocking with me for a long time, they may have remembered that, right? One of the reasons why I brought her onto the live stream was not that I felt like I needed it or anything like that. It was because I had started getting a reputation and my image started being an asshole too hard. So now I had to soften my image a little bit by bringing her on the live stream for about a month or so. Then we're going to go ahead and kick her off. But it was, now I don't have to necessarily announce that. I might tell my bag chasers, hey, this is how you market yourself, effectively or whatever. But the goal it's always strategic. It's always a goal and how it is that I'm going about doing things. I don't just do stuff by happenstance. It's not just a mistake. I'm not just pivoting and figuring it out as, I figure stuff out and I try different things. But a lot of the things that I do is very, very intentional. So.
Yeah, So like, I mean, my biggest thing with my wife has her own business as well, so I kind of help her trying to operate.
So you can help her, but she can't help you. What's going on here?
Well, my wife is very introverted. She's introverted. I'm extroverted.
Nah,
So
she can't be introverted. That's not what a marriage is about. You got to get out your comfort zone. I need you. You gonna have to. So what? She introverted. Hey, baby, I need you. You don't think that she gonna want to help you if you say, baby, I need you. Yo, I can't really get this contract without you. I need to be able to market myself more effectively. And I realize that you are an integral part of what it is that I got going on. It don't have to necessarily be true. Just butter her up. She'll rock with it.
I just hope she's not watching the stream right now, because I'm definitely gonna say something.
But yeah, I got to get out of here. So I appreciate y'all.
Right,
Thank y'all.
I appreciate you, Anton.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. So listen, I hope y'all like the new format of the show. I want to start bringing you guys into my fold so that I can have more conversations with you towards the end of the show. And I want to get to the meat and potatoes during the show earlier first. And then I'm just going to continue to refine it as we go along. So I did give y'all a lot of game. I gave y'all a lot of insight and information. But I do want y'all to tap into the Patreon because it is an unlimited amount of gems inside of the Patreon for y'all to be able to leverage so that you can become incredibly successful as a result of utilizing the information that I give you on a regular basis. Listen, and the Bag Chasers is not just interviews. It's not just content for you to be able to lean into in order to be entertained. It's also insight and information that you can take into your practical lives that allow for you to actually be able to grow with me, and then grow within your own environment that you can then leverage to become the best version of yourself in whatever business, whatever corporate structure, or your relationships, all right? So I don't want you to just get in there just to be a part of the group. I want you to actually utilize the information so that you can be successful. If you need to tap in with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I'm going to get you scheduled for a Zoom call or a personal call according to the schedule, but you got to email me as fast as possible because the slots be full. I'm going to just be honest with you. The slots be full. Same thing tomorrow. Nothing's changed. Doing the same type of show tomorrow. We're going to cook up. We're going to kill it. We're going to do great things, and we're going to absolutely add as much value to you as possible. We're going to keep the same format, all right? Make sure you get your alpha juice. This stuff is good, and it is incredibly healthy for you. If I could just stop eating off of this charcuterie board and this stuff that Rita keep cooking for me, that's the beautiful, and the curse about being married, then I'll be all right. But I'm about to hit the gym, and then I got some meetings that I got to take care of later on today. So I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I appreciate you. I love you. I love that everybody continues to enjoy the show and you continue to grow with me. Make sure you get your alpha juice, put in a discount code, tap into Tiege Hanley, and then also last but not least, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. I do this every weekday so that I can add as much value into your life as possible while also entertaining you. You guys have been awesome. Don't fumble the bag. Let's get to this money. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.